Let me show you how you can build a Navbar using Tailwind CSS. So you're going to want to head over to the official Tailwind CSS playground and remove all this code. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use Emmet because it's just much faster. I like using Emmet, and we're going to structure our HTML. So we need a span and we need a p tag. Then we're going to climb up, and here we're going to have our unordered list. Wait. Our unordered list, we need maybe 4 items, and we're going to nest anchor tags in them. And after that, we're going to climb out twice, and we're going to have a div. Inside our div, we're going to have our 2 CTA buttons, right? And we want 2 of them. So this is how our code should look like. So this is the logo, company logo. Then these are the menu items. And then we have our CTAs. Okay, let me just organize that manually. Okay, so we have our HTML organized, and then I'm going to add some text here. So home, about, socials, then contact. Okay, then here we're going to say login and sign up. Then here we're going to have logo, simply logo. Okay. Now we want our menu items to be kind of like next to each other. So we're going to apply display flex, and we want them to have space in between. And so we're going to do that with justify in between, just like that. And we want to have a bit of padding so that they're just not all the way to the end. And so we're going to do padding X and give it a padding of 4. Okay, that looks reasonable. And another thing I like to do is I like to give my elements a border class so that I see what is happening if maybe there are elements that are overflowing and don't work properly. So why is that there? Did I do something? Okay, yeah, it's not me. Okay, so we have that going on, and now we need to make these ones lie next to each other, and so we're going to use flex, okay, and then we're going to increase the padding of our parent container to be 4 at least, just like that, and then we want to have spaces in between our menu items. So I'm going to apply the selector that's going to apply all these changes. Instead of manually writing down padding Y for each, we're just going to use the child selector, and it's going to do that for us for each of the list items here. And then we're going to say padding 2, maybe 4. Okay, yeah, that looks good. And now we're going to come up here for our logo, and I'm going to say with a 4, a height of 4, a border, maybe not a border, but let's give it a radius of 4 so that it is completely rounded, and a background color of black. But then it's not appearing, and why is that? It's because a span is an inline element, so we can't apply a height and width to it. So we have to display it block, and there we go. We have it there. Maybe we can increase the size to be 8 instead. And then we see that it is squashed inside. So I need to increase this one as well. And then we want them to be next to each other, and we're going to say flex. Okay. And we see that our logo is not centered on the y-axis, so we're gonna align our items center like that, and we want them to have space in between each other, so I'm gonna say margin left 3 like that. So far our menu is looking good, but we're noticing that also our menu items are not centered, so we're gonna apply the same thing, items center. And there we go, they're centered. And I think that's a bit too much space. It's 8, so I'm going to say 3 or 4. Yep, that looks good. And we're also noticing with this one as well, they're not centered, but we don't need to apply margin Y auto so that they're both centered on the Y axis. So, yep, they are centered. And then I'm going to apply both of them the border utility class so that I see what's going on with them. And we're going to give each of those two buttons using our child selector. And what are we going to do? We're going to give them both a padding of 3. Nope, that's too big. 2. Okay. And then this one, I think we can remove our border so that it just stays the way it is. And then this one, we can give it a background of yellow shade of 500, maybe. No, this one is fine. And a rounded of large. Rounded is border radius. And I think there should be some space in between them. So I'm going to say margin right to be 4, maybe 3. That's too much. 3. And then we remove the borders of our elements, and there we go. That's how it should look so far. And let me just give our parent shadow, maybe a small shadow, maybe make it large so that we see it plainly. And there we go. That's how you build a navbar using Tailwind CSS. And we don't need a lot of utility classes. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new from it. So do make sure that you follow me for more Tailwind CSS content and CSS. Thank you. Bye.